If something is working,
double down.
even if because it was boring, it was very repetitive. It
Yeah.
can get boring, but it works. And so why are you gonna stop doing something that works?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Driven. And today's episode is gonna be a different type of episode.
Yes.
Well, we're already in December. It's I think December the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just man, the year went by quick.
It did.
I remember when we started the end of 2022 towards the beginning of 2023, it was pretty rocky for the business.
Yeah.
I know we were really low in sales. We were kind of struggling. We were game planning. We were, seeing what we could do. And then at the December 2022, that's when we made certain decisions in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we're going to focus on email marketing. We're going to focus on maybe improving the products, like little things here and there. Come January, February, we're like, okay, we're going to ramp up the products.
Mm-hmm.
And I think within a few months, we started doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And it goes back to like little changes, or even like within a few months, like everything could change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I think reflecting, looking back in life, it's just, I think it's just crazy. It's just wild.
And so how do you, so I guess if you could reflect, like, how do you think it went then? Like, what was the process? What was the mentality? What was like the mentality when it was slow? What was the mentality like knowing, okay, things need to change? And what was the mentality like once we were already there? Like, actually, like, we saw the results. And then what is the mentality like already, like, I guess the business doing good?
I think going back to like why it went down is maybe if to sum it all up, just bringing it down to one thing, is just a lack of focus. Lack of focus. I mean, it's like we're doing good. We want to do a lot of different things. We want to do a vinyl shop, wrap shop. We wanted to do PPF products. We wanted to do like a lot of stuff. Right. And I think it's just like towards that time, it's like, okay.
Why do you think, and I think this is good to like just, I feel like it's a good process but why do you think we wanted to do vinyl or vinyl shop or vinyl wrap?
I think because we didn't know any better.
Okay, I guess but why did we want to do that? Is it like why?
To give a straight out answer, I don't know. But I think maybe because it was fun.
Okay.
I think we weren't experienced.
Okay.
And I think more than anything, the lack of knowledge and the experience, because I think it all flipped once we started listening to our Mosey.
Right, which was I started in August.
And that's when like the changes started happening.
Yeah.
We started to focus more. So like once I think more than anything, just gaining knowledge.
Yeah, because I remember, and I think the mentality then was, it's just the next natural progression to what we're already doing. We did vinyl kits. We did pre-cut kits. And so we worked with vinyl. We worked on cars. We worked, in that area. So I'm like, logically, to add more revenue, the next step is to open up a vinyl shop.
Which that made sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Like, we work with vinyl. We sell vinyl kits. Why don't we open up a vinyl shop? And then also the mindset behind that was the fact, okay, we're going to get new cars in. So when we get new cars in, we're going to get new products also. I don't know if you remember that. So yeah. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
There was a lot of things, because also with the social media. Before that, we were just posting like the similar things, because we didn't have like much cars coming in.
Yep.
And so we were always posting the Charger. We were always posting the Grand Cherokee, the Teslas. And I think the third thing too, that is, we're just going to get a lot more content. Yeah.
And so that was a mentality.
Yeah.
That was mentality. It just makes sense.
Which it did make sense.
Without looking at everything, and also without having that, very in-depth business experience, it makes sense. Opening up a shop, which is a completely new business, it made sense.
Yeah, because looking back at it, do you think it makes sense now? Like, I know it didn't make sense, and if we knew what we know now, we wouldn't have even tried it. But why didn't it make sense?
Why didn't or doesn't?
Yeah. Why doesn't it make sense? And then we were focused on e-commerce. We were focused on,
right,
what we do.
And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because it's a completely new business. Yep. You had to market for it. You had to deal with the clients. There's new systems that you had to put into place. There's different schedules, because we're Monday through Fridays, e-commerce and vinyl wraps. Yep. I know sometimes you have to work over the weekends. You have to deal with customers. You have to new payment system if they pay in cash. processing like a credit card process, which isn't hard, but it's a completely new business. And so the efforts and the time that was used for the e-commerce was split.
Yep.
And so
I don't think it was split though. I think it was more towards the vinyl. And you saw what it cost to it, no?
No, what do you mean?
The revenue wise?
It was already coming down. Like there was like I personally, from what I see, I don't think it was the case.
Like how you mentioned, there was new systems, new customers, new procedures. You know, maybe getting more people, and so the split was half and half.
Yeah.
But I think it was more towards the vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much like the attention went to the vinyl, and so then even though we weren't like producing a lot of products and we weren't really focusing on the e-commerce side, like we still kind of were focusing on it, but now pretty much the whole attention was on the vinyl wrap shop. And so like we didn't pay attention to the advertisements on Amazon, we didn't pay attention to the competition, we didn't pay attention to all these things, and so that's why we saw the decline in sales for that. And then it also goes because we in 2021 we didn't need to focus on that. All we focused on was fulfillment. Yep. The sales just increased because of the pandemic. Yep. And so I think that kind of taught us a bad thing, which was like it's just gonna grow on its own. We just let it be, and it's gonna grow, which is not the case. And I think that taught us a bad lesson. And then it translated to 2022, and then we thought it's gonna grow. And then so I'm like, and when it wasn't, okay, what can we do to increase revenue? And then how we explain like, all these things make sense. Let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. And yeah, we did that. Yeah. So then afterwards, what did you see like when we opened up the vinyl wrap shop? How did that go? I don't think we really ever got to like the marketing, or like we were getting started, but I don't think we ever got to it.
No, because from what I remember.
Because I know we built it.
We built it. We did a lot of stuff, but I think it's because we still didn't have that experience, like actually like rapping like 100%. We didn't have that 100% confidence to be like, okay, we're gonna start charging you, because we started getting people in, and we did charge people. Yeah. Because I remember one of the people from high school that we know, he came in, he got his windows tinted, and that was the time where we hired someone specifically for that.
Oh shoot, you're right. Yeah.
And so I think that was the thing that was holding us back. It was just
the lack of like skill, huh?
Yeah, because I think we were actively trying not to get people to come in. Yeah. Because people were, we actually did get like 4 or 5 clients like that we don't know, that just came from the Yelp or Google My Business.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
But we were pushing a lot of people away because we still didn't have that confidence
to like. Yeah.
Yeah, because like we completely gave up on vinyl wrap.
Yeah, because and then I remember we practiced vinyl wrapping.
Yeah, we were
practicing. We spent a good amount of time practicing the vinyl wrap.
Yeah.
Like the charger twice.
Yup. The time and the money. Because to set up the shop, it was a lot. The flooring, the walls. Yeah. And then to send people to train. Yeah. The online courses, and sending people in person, like minimum 2,000 per person. Yeah. Yeah. So it was kind of like that. Yeah. 2022. And then so kind of like just going over 2022 in March was our highest sales month ever. Yeah. So we assumed it was gonna stay like that.
It's gonna stay like that and continue growing. And so, but then when we saw it wasn't, I think that's when like, okay, what can we do to increase the revenue?
Which was the vinyl shop.
The vinyl shop, and then
it made sense.
Okay, and it made sense, and then so obviously didn't work out because of the lack of skill.
We were marketing it, but we weren't like 100% all in. We were probably like at 5 to 10%, but we were still having people inquiring about getting their cars window tinted or getting their cars PPF'd and wrapped.
So which I don't think is a bad business. I think someone just needs to learn the skill. Yeah. Obviously, sales, but I learned the skill. I think is gonna, because that's what prevented us from, which was honestly a good thing. It was a good thing that we weren't skilled enough to do it, because then that allowed us. For example, when I ran across from Mosey, like, okay, e-commerce is our business, we had to stick to it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that we were scared or we didn't have the skill. We kind of had it, but we weren't 100% confident that we would be able to deliver 100% of the time.
So then that's the skill, no?
Because you said that we were. Did you say that we were 100%? Oh, not 100%, but we were like lacking skill.
Yeah, we were lacking skill.
Okay. If you want to put it.
If you look how the charger came out, like I don't think we didn't have the skill to wrap another car, especially like we didn't have the skill, because look how the charger came out okay.
It came out good. It's just the really like indented curves, like the curves. That's the only thing. But everything else is good. Like the doors came out good. Yeah. the roof came out good. It's just like the bumpers that didn't come out good, and it's just because it was so indented. But I think that's beyond the point. But you mentioned you came across Hermosi.
Yeah, and I remember it was in August.
Yeah.
And then I remember one of the things that was emphasized was like the focus and all this, and then what do you call it? And then I remember we had a meeting on Saturday. So I guess before then, I think it like closing up the shop made the most sense because that wasn't our business. We were good at e-commerce. We had pretty much we've been doing it for a while, selling clothing, so we knew the marketplaces really well.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense to focus on that. And so and then I remember the way that we kind of determined what it was that we needed to do was list out all the things that we could do to increase the e-commerce side.
Yep.
Email marketing, new products, start advertising on Google, social media, like all these things that you could do to increase the that we could do to increase the e-commerce side. And I remember we were three, me, you, and then it was one of our someone who deals with the listings. And I remember we delegated the work.
Yep.
And that was like towards the end of the year. Yeah. And so I know we were focusing a lot on the Google ad, and that's the Google ads also help with the website sales. The discounts, email marketing. I know like we didn't really get too far into it.
Nope.
But then I know one of the things that we really needed to like focus on was the new products, because I'm like, what is it that always increased in revenue? Like, because we've had short spurts of just growth.
Yep.
And then it kind of like like not stagnation, but kind of like slower growth.
Yep.
And so I remember that when we first started, it was we had a products, but then I knew it was a new line of products.
Yep.
That pretty much took us over.
Yep.
Then it was like, and then we kind of grew and not stagnated, but it had a slower growth. Then we there was a spurt where we added new products. So pretty much whenever we added new products, it's when there was some significant growth in the company. And so I know someone else was in charge of that. I know it was the other person, and so I'm like, it just makes sense to do that, like, because that's really like where the growth came from.
Yep.
And so I remember it was like around, like you said, December. And then January, like, okay, we're going to focus on this. Like I remember, and then I remember that the original plan was one every 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, remember when we said, how many cars can we do? Or how many new products can we do? Yeah. And I don't know if you remember.
Which was one every 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah.
It was one every 2 weeks. And that would have generated probably 3 different lines of products. So 3 lines of products every 2 weeks. Yeah.
And then just for context, one every 2 weeks. Now we do 16 times more than that.
Yeah. Yep.
16 times more than that. Then and I think that it was good that we're still very involved in the business, because then if we would have left it up to like maybe someone else, it might have not gone at the speed that it's supposed to go.
Probably, yeah. We probably would have been half like what we are right now.
Yeah, because then also just look back, the products that we've had for a while, and the kind of like were our core. If you look at the sales, they're like less than 20. So just imagine.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so I imagine other businesses suffering too.
Yep. With that, you would say it's just what changed was, a clear focus. Now we had a clear focus.
Yes.
And pretty much reflecting on what, actually made the business, succeed in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like focus, reflecting, and then pretty much, planning out what we could do, and then just executing on that, right?
And yeah, exactly. And then we did execute on that. Yeah. And then we saw that some things that we did had more results than the other one, which is the new products. And so once we saw that it's working, we just doubled down and just kept doing it for months, 8 months, 9 months. Right now we're currently still doing it, but when we were involved, we were still like August. Like we did that for like 8 months straight.
Yeah. Yep. And we were involved.
And we were still involved. So it was just like, we started with 2 new products a week. Then, at some point we started with 3, and now we're doing 4 a week.
Because within a month, because we started in January, and that was
mid-January.
Mid-January, and that was 2 a week.
Yes.
And then I think once we bumped it up to 3 a week, that allowed us to hire another person to help us, right?
Yeah.
and then give it another 6 months, and we're already in December.
Yeah.
So the first 6 months, building up that traction, it allowed us, like, we were still building up the traction. It allowed us to hire 2 people.
Yep.
The next 6 months, we had those people. So the products, for production to come back, we had video editor. We had, the person, that we're thinking of, putting in charge to do the production, to manage everyone part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had the person that took over some of my responsibilities with the images.
Yeah.
So just by, focusing and, going back to what made us succeed, we were able to hire 5 people.
Yeah. And so I think a key point to take out of it is that whatever it is that is working, just double down on it and keep doing it for a long period of time. Because, dude, we've been doing it for, let's just say, a year. Because it's been pretty much a year.
And we haven't stopped.
We don't see ourselves stopping doing the thing that's working. And so, like, that's one of the things, like, if something is working, double down. Even if because it was boring, it was very repetitive. It can get boring, but it works. And so why are you going to stop doing something that works? And so if there's anything to take away from that, it's just double down on what it is that it's working and just do it. And then do it for a long time. And a long time, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, we've been doing it for a year. Yeah. A year. Yep. And we're not stopping. Nope. And so I think that's a very key point to take away.
Because and that's the thing, we have the people in place that we're not involved in that.
Yep.
We still oversee the direction of it. Like, we're not gonna stop. We're gonna continue doing that. Let's see if we could push for another, instead of 4 or 5. With limitations. Right. Like, obviously, there's limitations. We're still overseeing everything, but the direct, actual, like, working within it to make the products, we're not involved in it.
Yeah, and I think that with that is allowing us to focus on other things. Because I know, like, the brand, like, both the business brand and then the personal brand are going to be key players in the future.
Yeah, so that's a long-term play.
Especially because, how, like, pretty much everyone is saying, like, that the new currency is attention. Yeah. And so we know that that's going to be, like, a very big... big thing in the future. And then also, like, it's allowing us to expand into, like, not necessarily new product lines, but it's allowing us to think of, okay, maybe now we could do custom. We have a printer, maybe now printing stuff, because the system is already in place of what's working. Yep. And then I know right now, not that we have a limit, but technically we could do it every single day, but then I know we will need to hire other people. And so, like, and then that could be a limiting belief. Mm-hmm. But, or maybe we could get just, something, do a quick product on Friday. Maybe that's an alternative. But I know it's just time-wise, at the moment, it's, we're kind of like, we have that in place. We have that, 4 products a week, so, and it's working pretty good. Like, if you look at everyone's work time and work schedule, everyone is always doing something at all times. Yeah. Everyone has something to do at all times. And so, like, if I know that right now, if we add more, it's going to be very hard. Yeah. Not impossible, but it's going to be very hard. So right now, I think we have the system. We're seeing how it plays out. And then maybe in the future, we ramp it up even more. Yep. And so, but then with that, your time is free from that. My time is free from that. We still overlook, the pricing, how pretty much the presentation and the marketing and the sales of that product. We still oversee that. Yep. But now it's allowing us to the brand, the personal brands, the brands, personal and business brand. Yep. And then also on the new products, reaching out to, like, creators, content creators, allowing us to, think of the new products, which I know we're going to execute on those. Yeah. And then kind of like how, and the thing is that I don't think we know what's really going to work. Nope. I mean, we just look at the market, we just see the type of customers that we have, we just see the inquiries, and then from that, okay, we let's say add to it. Mm-hmm. And I think from the past, I don't think you've really known what's gonna work, huh? Like, you don't know this is gonna work. No. All of a sudden you just see, fuck, it took off. Yeah. Yep. Like for example, just certain products, you didn't know that we're gonna do good. They just took off. Yeah. Just going back, I think it's allowing us to add. On my end, it's gonna allow us to add like a new. I don't want to say new category of product because they're still within. It's just a different like. Yeah, it's kind of like movies.
It's still a movie, but then you have like action, you have a comedy, you have a thriller.
Exactly.
So there's still gonna be movies. It's not like it's gonna change into a documentary. Oh, I don't know if that. Yeah.
Like and so or like music. It's not like from like movies to like music. Or to the different types of
or like animations, 3D.
Exactly.
So it's not.
So it's still within it, and so within it. And
that's the thing. I think now, from even though like from the previous experiences with the vinyl wrap and everything, I think now we know kind of like we have a clearer idea and a better idea, and just experience that even though we have the things to start something, it doesn't make sense right now because it's pretty much starting a new business. Even though like everything is in place, like with the printing, like maybe it may not make sense. We still have to see, and I think it's just just going back, because we also did other stuff like before the vinyl wrap. I know we wanted to do carbon fiber parts.
But
then, right away we knew that it wasn't gonna.
I know we were thinking of the car care. We were thinking about it. We never really like looked too much into it, but we were looking at the car care.
Yeah, and we knew it wasn't gonna make sense.
3D printing.
3D printing.
We looked at that.
Molding. Well, what is it? Thermal molding? No, for like to create the parts.
Yeah.
Thermoplastic. Whatever it is, but like to create like actual physical parts for the vehicles. We thought of that.
And the thing is, it makes sense. Like when you think, and that's one of the things that I think you had to figure out what makes sense. Like it makes sense. We're in the car industry. We're in the automotive industry. We work with film. If we add parts for cars, it makes sense.
It does.
If we do car care for cars for a customer base, it makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense, but it kind of doesn't make sense because that's a completely new new product category is a completely new business, and so you have to take attention away from what is working and what is doing good. You have to allocate some of that to the new thing, and that pretty much splits the time. And then that's what really would probably inhibit the growth of the existing business. And so I think people should just look at what's working and double down on it. And I think that's one of the key points that that I would say it's takeaway. It's like, because if you're doing, like, for example, let's say you're a detailer, or for an example, and then you're going to let's say flyers to every car, and then you're getting results from that, and so you're getting good results from them, and then and so you need help with the actual detailing, so you hire someone, and then but it is working, that type of marketing. So then you're let me start Google ads. I mean, which you can. That's the thing. Or for example, what's another type of
social media?
So let me do social media.
Door to door knocking.
And so then you're doing that, but then so say you're still doing the same volume, but then now you start doing Google ads and all these different things, social media. I feel like if you just double down on what you're doing and then just do more of it, in fact you hire more people to do more of it, and because it works, that would bring more results than having to learn something completely new. The learning curve, and then I don't think you even know if it's gonna work out at some point. So it just makes sense to double down on what it is that's working and just continue doing it for a long time until you're a master of it, and you see that there's absolutely no new way or no possible way that this could improve or this could become at that point. Let me look into social media. And that's what we're doing right now. Once we exhaust all the products, which I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. Then let's put let's say attention on something else. But it's something that's working, something that we're doing, and something that's bringing the result. And it's something that I don't think in 2022, mid January. I mean, not mid January, mid year 2022. I don't think. And obviously, there's been some hiccups here and there, with different mistakes that has happened and whatnot throughout that time. But I personally didn't think we would be in an okay place. It was unpredictable, at least for me on my end. I don't know where we were gonna be.
Not only that, I think another thing to add is that we also learned from our mistakes of just being complacent. Because remember in 2021 it grew, and then we were just fulfilling the orders. We were just shipping. That's how we were doing. We came in, we shipped, and then we just left. Having thinking we were actually growing the business. When that wasn't the case. And that's something we realized right now, and that having those conversations, driving home, or just us two during lunch. It's we already have the people in place creating the products. We could easily tell ourselves we have it good, We're very profitable. We really don't need to be here, and that's one of the other things is that, you know, we're giving people more and more responsibility for the people who could handle it and actually deliver, where we're needed less.
Yes.
A little bit less within the business. Like the actual day-to-day, we're pretty much not needed.
Yeah, because like how I mentioned to you, like I think if we were to disappear, the business would still continue.
It would grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Definitely there will be some learning curves on their end, like what we've already gone through, but I think it'll continue to grow.
We could disappear for 6 months, a year, it'll still grow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's one thing we learned. We could easily tell ourselves, like, man, we could just stop coming, or like come in like for a few hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, and just, you know, do whatever else we want to do.
Yeah, because technically we could do that.
We can, and that's the thing, we can. But I think that's one thing we learned. If we just leave it as is, eventually it's gonna start going down, because there's really gonna be, or maybe I could be wrong, but like at the moment there's not gonna be anyone to push for more sales.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what we started doing. We could easily, you know, continue working, like creating the physical products, but we know that if we stay there, there's going to be a chance that, you know, down the line, maybe 6 months, a year, it's going to start going back down, and we're going to have to rebuild. So like, I think right now we're just taking that opportunity. Remember I told you, like, you know, right now I think they're handling it. What else could we do? Pretty much like working with the bigger brands.
Yeah, with the bigger brands.
Like, let's do it right now. Like,
because with the time, there's time for it.
Yeah, there's a time for it, because right now it's the end. It's December. It's the end of the holidays, and so we're gonna have like 2 weeks to a month of just like sales are gonna be low, just for everyone across the board for e-commerce, because it's after the holidays. For people in clothes, you know, for people like that, and so like let's just do it there.
And the thing why it makes sense is because it's not a new category of product. It's just, let's say we're able to do certain things, like we're able to do those certain products. It's just adding it to production, to the existing production. So it's not like adding a new like category of product. It's not car care. It's not any of the things. It's just the same thing, but just, you know.
Yeah. So in a service-based business, it's pretty much another package.
In a service-based business, it's another package.
So like if it's detailing, okay, if you're only doing car wash, like the exterior, now you're gonna include the exterior and interior. Yeah. Now you're gonna include the polishing.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
You know, even in lawn care, maybe you're gonna do like the windows, or maybe not the windows, but like trimming the bushes, or not just So
with the existing already tools that you have, you're able to do the extra service.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, doing car care products. We're not gonna go into parts. We're not gonna go into, you know, manufacturing, 3D printing. We're not gonna go into carbon fiber. We're not. That's
because of the lesson that we learned in 2022.
Yep.
That we had to go through the hard way. And so like if you could learn from like, you know, and if we learned from other people's mistakes, that would have been, I think, a lot faster process.
Yeah.
And so like I think if there's one thing also to take away is that you know, learn from you know, at least our mistake.
Yeah.
Our mistakes.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean we know what we're doing. Like. Nope. We know how we got to this point. It doesn't mean we know how to get to the next level, you know, because eventually I'm pretty sure you would agree that we want to get to 8 figures, which is 10 million, but we don't know how to get there. It's just...
And I was adding to that, like, profitability too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So adding to that too.
Yeah.
Because I know, well, I don't even know actually. Because then once we get to those places, our skill set is going to have to, like, adapt and evolve. Because it's not going to be like in, you know, knowing the inner workings of like certain, like the e-commerce and with this not, it's probably going to be more with dealing with people, hiring the right people, hiring people that have more experience than us, and that's a new skill that we're going to have to develop. And that's one of the things, like if you follow people that are kind of like where you want to be in life, because we follow the Hermosis and we know that that's going to be the next skill that skill level step that we're going to need to like learn is hiring people that know more than us.
And I think we've been doing pretty good.
In what sense?
In hiring people.
In hiring people in general, huh? Like for like the...
Yeah, because I know towards the beginning, it was a lot different towards the beginning. Remember? Like the first hires? It was a lot different. It was just like we didn't know what we were doing.
Yep.
And I think we're getting better, but I think we have to get a lot better.
Yeah, so kind of like we have an idea of what's next. And so it's just a matter of just time and execution. And so... But yeah, I think, you know, this was a good reflection because then it pretty much... made us remember and think.
And then also like to put emphasis that it's 12 months. It went by pretty quick.
Yes.
It was quick. And, you know, doing the right things, you can change your business or, you know, your career within a few months. You really can.
I think for me, just the last and final thought for whatever, I think even I don't know if it's in jobs, but if there's something that's working, like my final thoughts, if there's something that's working,
Double down.
just double down and do it more often, more frequently, and for an extended period of time. Just and focus. That's one of the things. No, especially with nowadays what you see on social media, like grow your business with this method or grow your business with that method. If you already have something that's working, just double down on it and do it more. And do it for a long period of time to the point where you're like, you really can't get more out of that thing. At that point, okay, maybe you could try something else, but yeah, and that's the one takeaway that I have. That's the one takeaway. I don't know if you have anything on your end.
For me, it's not that it's all over the place, because it's very contradicting what I'm going to say. Is, just take it one day at a time. Because if you look like, man, I want to change my business or my career around within a year, it's going to seem like a big task. So just take it one day at a time, because, if you take it one day at a time, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to seem like less of a big mountain to climb. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's just, look forward to it, start planning. Seeing kind of how you mentioned, if something is working, double down on it. Yep. Kind of planning and going towards that goal. Yeah. And that's pretty much.
And then with what you were saying, I'm like, and also like go to day to day. Also have patience. Yeah. Because when we were doing the new products, we didn't really know if it was gonna work out. Nope. We were just doing. We were kind of not going in blindly, because we know that's something that had worked, and so we were just doing it day to day. We didn't know that if it was going to bring any results. Luckily in 2-3 months, okay, we started seeing the results, we started seeing the increase, and then we hit our highest month ever. 4 months after that.
Yeah, it had a delayed effect, because remember we started December, we didn't see with the email marketing and so we started in December, we didn't see any results. We started in January, still not much there. February, it was getting a little bit better, but it wasn't there. And then, come March, it was, getting better. And then, April, May, June, July, it followed.
April, I think, was our highest month. Because I remember, January, you're really not going to see any results. February, I think it was still, eh.
Yeah, because easily, if we had less experience, we would have been 2-3 months in. Nothing's happening. Let's just do something else.
Yup. But we kept at it. And in April, 4 months after we began, starting to focus and doing the thing that was working, that's when we started seeing the results. I'm like, and then when we looked at the P&L, the profit and loss, we're like, is this real?
The profits were crazy.
What? We were is this real? Yeah. Because that was the most profitable we've ever been. Yep. In spite of being in the automotive industry, which is declining at the moment. Yeah. At the moment. Yep. And a lot of repos and all that. In spite of that, we had our biggest and most profitable month ever. Yeah. Ever. Yep. Even more than I think when we started at the beginning.
Even more during the pandemic.
More than the pandemic, and because of all the lessons learned. But yeah, that was wild. But wild. Yeah. And I think. Well, do you have anything else on your end?
No.
Yeah, and then I guess to repeat it 4, 5, 6. I'll repeat it 7 times. It's just, if there's something that's working, just double down on it and do it more frequently and do it for an extended period of time. And then even if you don't see the results immediately, it took us 4 months to actually see some results for us. And so just keep doing it, keep doing what works, and exhaust that particular thing that you're doing until you can't do it anymore. Yep. And then you'll see the results from that. And but yeah, I mean, that was a good reflection on the since for 2 years of the business. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments about what we said, or if you have any input, let's say something similar happened in your business or job or wherever you're at, please share it in the comments down below, because I think it'll help a lot of people. It'll help a lot of people.
And one thing I wanted to add, if you're a business owner, or your career, you want to share your thoughts in the podcast, we are opening invitations out to come on the podcast. We are located in Los Angeles, so we do want to hear those other perspectives, because I know we spent a lot of time, 12 hours a day together, and so our thoughts are pretty much the same. Yeah. And we do want to have those discussions. If we have disagreements, of how to go about life or how to go about business, we do want to actually hear that.
Yep.
So, like we do open up the invitation for everyone.
Yeah, no, definitely. So reach out to us. How can they reach out to us?
They could leave a comment, or they could go to Instagram, send a DM.
Villegas Brothers.
At the Villegas Brothers, even Driven Podcast.
Or Driven Podcast, yeah.
But yeah, so just reach out, send a direct message, and we'll get back to you.
And there's really no limitation on the type of, that.
Yeah, it could be a business, it could be a trade.
No, definitely. Yeah, so with all that being said, this has been another episode of Driven. My name is Juan.
My name is Alexis.
And we'll see you on the next one.